How do we work with resistance? The answer is in the question. We work with resistance. We accept that we have the resistance, because if we work against it, if we try to get rid of it, we're only resisting even more. So whatever you have resistance to, accept it, whether it be applying to jobs, finishing your assignments on time, doing these dull responsibilities that you don't want to do. We're accepting that we have that resistance. And then it's up to us to decide, do I want to use discipline and make myself do this thing? Or do I want to follow making myself feel happy? This isn't a trick question, because last year I barely employed any discipline. I was working on self-development, on my mindset, on how I should go about business, self-development, relationships, spirituality, all of these different things. And what I found was when I was working on, following my happiness, that's exactly when I started to ease up a little bit. I had all of these goals and I sort of eased up and I was following what made me excited. Meaning I was learning about the law of attraction and the law of assumption more, all of these different things. I started to sort of forget about my goals, but what ended up happening was it released the resistance. And I'm not telling you to quit your responsibilities or your goals for an entire year, but what I'm saying is go by feeling. If you feel like you need to take a rest, take a rest. If you feel like you do need to employ discipline, do it. What's more important, your goals or your happiness right now? It really just depends. And it's case by case basis every single day, every single moment. What ended up happening was I was like, girl, what are we doing? Like, it's time. It's time to start putting in the work. And so I ended up going much harder. I feel like in some areas of 2022, I really was putting in so much work, and 2021, but a lot of that work was misdirected, because it was work that I was doing because I was like, I have to hustle. I have to. But I readjusted my mindset to, I am worthy of all things. I am in the present moment, and I am actually doing the things that make me happy. I started pushing everyone away, and I started pushing these things that I wanted away. They didn't make me happy. And I feel like I stripped myself of everything unbeknownst to me, realizing, girl, like, what are we doing? Like, we are working on our goals, on the things that scared the ever-living crap out of me, because it was so important to me and because it is literally like my passion, right? So I had so much built up resistance. And if you have resistance towards creative work, I want you to read The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. It has really changed my life. I read it in 2020. It's always been in the back of my head, and everything that I did after that, I knew was a form of procrastination because I wasn't doing the thing that I wanted to do. And when you're mindful of that as well, you know why you're doing these things. Like, I'm cleaning my room, not to clean my room, but because I am procrastinating doing my creative project, or I am going on all of these dates, not because I want to go on these dates, but because I'm procrastinating, so on and so forth. That's what I felt like doing. And that's what I was doing. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way of going about this. At the same time, we need to recognize what we're putting in action towards that is just a form of procrastination to the thing that we really need to be doing. And so my point is that I put this goal up on such a pedestal, but at the same time, I had so much resistance to it. So what ended up happening was I was damn near doing nothing. At the same time, I was learning and I was practicing so much spirituality. I feel like I'm truly a master at manifesting. However, that was the thing that I ended up realizing in 2022. And I was like, okay, so this is resistance. So at that point, I decided to not follow my happiness. That was short-term happiness. And what ended up happening was I decided to push through it and use my discipline. No matter how much resistance I was feeling, I was still accepting it, but I wasn't letting it ride my dick. I wasn't letting it be controlling me anymore, or making me do different things out of procrastination. So it's really about recognizing that you have resistance, being okay with it, and feeling in your body what is feeling right to you. There's no way in 2022 I would have been doing all of these things that I am doing now, not only because I had resistance, but because there was all these barriers and fears and all of that kind of stuff. And for me personally, I needed to learn these specific things in my own way. I learned so much self-worth, you have no idea. Like, my self-worth, I realized before 2022 was in the trash. I didn't even realize it. And like, looking back to how I spoke to myself and others really showed me how little self-worth I did have. 2022 was like a golden year for me. And that led me to the final climatic realization that, like, girl, are we doing this or what? Like, you're gonna keep having resistance, and now is the time to push through it and use discipline and not think. Like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just go. There comes a point where we can't think anymore, or accept the thinking, like whatever you're thinking, whatever, let it happen lovingly and in a caring, compassionate way, because once we start fighting against it, it will just multiply. How many times has it happened to you? I know this has happened every single time for me, and it's subdued when I waited it out. When I accepted those thoughts, when I was adding on to the positives, when I was finding things that made me inspired and happy, regardless of whether it was to do with my responsibilities or my goals or not. But again, there came a time where I was like, girl, I don't care if you're not inspired. I don't care if you have resistance. You can have everything in the world. You can do whatever, you can think whatever, but we are doing this whether you like it or not. We're just putting in the action, no matter what, no matter if it doesn't work, no matter if there's no results or whatever. I am using baby steps and putting in action, and I am literally eliminating all of the remaining, distractions that I placed upon myself. I realized that going to the gym so much, well, it wasn't so much, but for me, I feel like that was also a mode of distraction, right? To the thing that I really wanted to do, but I had resistance of. And I'm not saying skip the gym. Do what works for you. Make a planner, whatever works. It's all about what builds you up and not distracts you. If you have a boyfriend that is inspiring you, is a healthy, positive aspect in your life, of course. Like, I'm not saying push everyone away, but sometimes we use relationships, friendships, going out, going to the gym, doing all of these things. And I'm purely talking about like responsibilities or your goals. We push that away to procrastinate on these things that don't actually add value in our lives. And I'm not saying only have relationships that add value to your life, but like love people, have compassion with people. But I'm also coming from a place where I didn't realize that I was in a toxic place with a partner, and I became a completely different person. My way of thinking was completely different, and we have to catch ourselves in that way, because it starts eating you up inside without you barely realizing it, because you have so much love for the person. And that can be a boyfriend, a friendship, a family member, whatever it is. So just keep a neutral perspective, have an open mind for everything, and just be accepting of your resistance and follow your happiness. Do I want to take time off to literally just chill and boost up my mood, boost up my vibration? And in that way, things are just going to be coming to you effortlessly. Or do I want to take the disciplined route and be like, I gotta go hard, I'm gonna do all this random stuff? Or are we balancing it all? Literally do what feels right for you in the moment, but the main point is accept your resistance. You have resistance. Cool. Accept it. Welcome it. Same thing with negative thoughts. You want to chill? Literally, I'm going to tell you one thing. I was feeling so negative. Non-stop, I felt like my thoughts were thinking me. And I really had the definition of a monkey mind. And I totally forgot about this, but it's like I was flipping my thoughts, and I was trying to be so positive to the point of getting so burnt out. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I have always just let the negative thoughts flow in, accept them, not try to flip them, know the ultimate truth that the negative thoughts are not true, and just let it ride out. And in a couple of days, they righted themselves out. Yeah, a couple of days. Literally, time does not matter. What matters is the long-term goal of we're getting better. Who cares? It literally does not matter how long it takes you, because through the process of you working through your resistance or your negative thoughts, you are becoming a better person. You are learning each time you're doing it and practicing. So it's going to be easier next time. I mean, you come out a better person. So it's all about like long-term gain. Everything is a win. Nothing is an L. W's all around. I hope that you found this video useful. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.